Okay, so welcome to the Move It Team Coaches call, April 1st, April Fool's Day.
Sorry, we're going home.
I should have done something to prank you guys, but I have not been with it as far as that's concerned.
Well, you can tell that you're pregnant.
Yeah, because no, I've done that so many years.
Everybody does it today.
Yeah, so I'll have to tell you guys a funny story after the call about what I did to my kids. I thought they would, April Fool's joke totally backfired on me. Okay, so anyways, some exciting announcement. Chris is pregnant, yay.
Hush you, it's a food baby.
Might as well have that be our first announcement. Chris recently has decided to actively be a business builder coach. He's been doing great on Body Beast, and he went to men's leadership training last weekend and got a lot of great information, to motivate him and pump him up. And he signed his first coach yesterday, which is his sister Shelby. So our team calls are about to get a lot more interesting because having these two on the team calls together, it's going to be fun. Let's just put it that way. Okay, so, and then we also have Sonia. She was in her first month. She hit Success Club 5, so congratulations. We'll also, congratulations to everyone else who hit Success Club in the month of March. As soon as the system refreshes tomorrow, I will be checking out to see who exactly did and posting a shout out to all of you. So excited. For my Emerald coaches, if you have any shout outs you want to do on the weekly team calls, let me know. Sometimes I'm not always able to know exactly what's going on with your teams, and it's always good to share achievements and accolades in here. So with that, I will go to turn the time over to Chris. He's going to tell us some great tips he learned last weekend. He was able to talk to a lot of coaches that were men that were $1 million earners in the business, or are $1 million earners in the business. They aren't necessarily higher up in ranks, so you don't hear a lot about them through Beachbody, but they earn money. And a huge part of it is because they have mastered how to build this business and get that residual income going that creates the high income. So Chris has gotten some tips from that. The whole premise of the Leadership Was Retreat was for men to market, because men have to go about this business a little bit differently than women. But a lot of the ideas that he was telling me cross over to what we can do and implement in our teams as women. Most of my coaches are women. So I thought this would be a good call for both the male and female coaches on our team to get ideas on how to grow their business. So I'm going to have him take over. When you're ready to share your screen, just click that button and it'll pop up.
Okay, because I'll have to go to the YouTube site and the thing. You gonna relax on the couch?
Probably.
Jeez. All right. Probably should have worn a different t-shirt if you can read it. But is it backwards to you guys, or is it? Oh, what it says is, I may look calm, but inside my head, I've killed you 3 times. I love getting people's facial expressions about it because it throws them off. Like, oh my gosh. Oh crap, what happened here?
You just moved off the screen, so just click that little icon.
Okay, yeah.
This is also a Zoom chat training too for when he's doing his own team calls.
Yeah. Oh, where's my pen? Hang on. No. It's the nervous tick of me that I need that.
This is fun for me.
Yeah. Fun for you. Whatever. So, men's event. So, it was in Dallas over this just last weekend. There was, 430 men plop down minimum of $75 for this training. Now, this kind of training normally costs several $1,000s because they brought in several industry people who are charged just ridiculous amounts of money for their training. But they were, through networking, they were able to make all these great connections. There was 15 of pretty much the top men coaches in the business, and combined, they make over $20 million a year. So each one's probably averaging, like one, well, I know the lowest making person, or the person who made the least there, $750,000 a year. His income is increased $10,000 a month for the last 4 months. His wife doing the business, she was making $8,000 a month last year. It's just ridiculous what they're doing with this on the premise of, do you want to be healthy? Do you want to be fit? Do you want to make money? Because why not be able to make money from doing something that you need to do anyway and bringing the people along that you want? Sorry, I'm going to have to look down to my notes. One question you really need to ask yourself is that if you were told today that you had 6 months to live, no ifs, ands, or buts, there's no cure, there's no possible chance, would your family be in a situation that they could take care of themselves, financially? Because that's what some of these guys were talking about. Jimmy Hayes Nelson, look him up on, he's another one of those top coaches. He was talking about that. Same with Tommy Migrant. My very first note about him, Tommy Migrant swears like a sailor. But he's like, you have to ask yourself, can you set yourself up with your family to be taken care of if you were to die in 6 months? And pretty much nobody in the audience could raise their hand that their family would be taken care of. So that's how men think. How do I take care of my family? Men obviously build the business differently than women. They work with, they just work. Men are built differently. Men are worked differently. Men think differently. So a lot of these guys, when Beachbody started moving to a challenge setup, hey, come join my challenge or whatever, a lot of these guys said, forget it. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to stick with what I'm working with. The first guy I'm going to talk about, his name is Pete Pena. He built his school, he built his business on an old school multi-level marketing way of thinking. In the Vegas area, he has, someone said 20 offices, but I couldn't believe it. But he has 20, they said he has 20 offices. And what he said he does is that almost every night they have a business opportunity meeting where they bring in people, explain the business to them, and say, do you want to be part of it? And if they do, they automatically roll into their first kind of training. And then, they don't do fit clubs or anything like that, but it's just get people in front of you, explain to them, this is what we do, this is our brand, this is how you can make money at it. And that's all they did. It's just, it's just crazy. Every Saturday he offers business training. Bring a friend, you get it paid for free. And then next thing you know, they're in this. When I got first married, like I have to say almost 20 years ago, I got conned into selling Kirby vacuum cleaners. My sister Shelby knows about this. I only made $1,000 in 2 months. But it was such a horrible experience because I'm going into these homes of people, mostly, mostly to go into the homes when the husband wasn't there, sell the woman on these vacuum cleaners. And don't get me wrong, Kirby's are great vacuum cleaners, but at the time it's $1,500. What was it? $3,500 now?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a tough sell. It's a great product, but I'm not paying $3,500. The great thing about Beachbody is it's already a great product. Beachbody does all the hard work for you. They have all their marketing and stuff, and you use the marketing to your advantage. I mean, I think they spend $100 million in advertising every year, so you just got to, use the information to help you. Some of the, let's see here, another set of guys, Bob Lucido and Keith Callahan. Bob Lucido, he's a weird looking guy. They showed a video of him with his shirt off, and it was just like, okay, you're fit and you're cut, but you just look weird. You're a weird looking dude, and he had a ponytail, and he was a former lawyer, making a couple $100,000 a year, but he saw that he could make a crap ton of money from this. So after Summit 2010, he locked himself in the hotel room for a week and planned out his game plan. And what he came up with is a 4-pillar system. Number one was belief. You got to believe in the product. Because if you don't, and you're like, well, it's a great product and yada, 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 people just don't believe that. So when you have a belief in that system, a true and genuine belief, people are going to resonate better with you. There's part 2 was the skeleton. And he went in, and this is a lot to go into, the skeleton, but basically he explained how everything's built, because you got Jenny at the top, and then you branch to the right, and you got me, you branch to the left, you got Jenny, I'm sorry, somebody else, and then under me, I've got my sister. But what you look at is when you're building this business, putting and placing people in positions where this thing called Team Cycle Bonus. It's still kind of a mystery to me. I've seen it explained, a couple times. I'll
explain it later. Michael
Neiman, he had a great video, but it doesn't help you explain. But basically they talk about when one side of your leg, call it your strong leg, your right leg, and your weak leg, your left leg, hit the cycle bonus. So when your right leg does 200 in volume and your left leg does 100 in volume, that equals 1 cycle bonus, which is $6. And then it just kind of feeds up your tree to go from 6 to 12. You have a potential of, for every cycle bonus that, like, someone that's 4 levels down from you, 4 or 5 levels down from you, they get a cycle bonus of $6. Well, it'll trickle up to you at $36. So what's your PV on one side? What did you say, like 200,000 or whatever?
I'm gonna go share screen and I'll show you.
Well,
I have
just
my right side is my strong side, and on there on a weekly basis I have anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 PV. My left leg, I have anywhere from 2 to 500 PV. So my left leg is my weak leg, and the leg I'm trying to build.
So basically, you take that 200 on one side, 100 on another side, equal that up to a cycle bonus. So at Jenny, she's making 5 cycle bonuses, so that's 5 times 6, 35 $35 at her level. Well, then that goes up to, because her upline's Kate, so you basically double that. And then Kate's upline's David, so double that. So you see how these cycle bonuses you'll make a lot of money from. And that's where Bob Lucido and Keith Callahan made their money. The highest rank that they've got is like 10-star diamond, but they sit about 7-star. because for them, there's no need. They don't want the accolades. They just want the money. So.
And that's a huge part of why we encourage coaches to hit Emerald pretty quickly, so they can start getting that, getting the cycle bonuses, because even at $14 a week, that adds up. And that's the initial cycle bonus. So that's kind of where we go with that.
Yeah. And their third pillar is, they called it how to build. First you got to develop your first steps. Like with Shelby, I had Shelby watch 3 different videos, and one's basically explaining how the business works from the Beachbody side of the house. The next one was David Ingram's coaching opportunity video. It's kind of long. It's like 120 minutes long, or no, an hour and 20 minutes long. But it's important to get those in, because then you'll have a better understanding. And then I had her watch Kate and David's How to Build the Business, and that's another hour and 20 minutes. But those 3 videos, I feel, help give you a good, strong basis and understanding. And then if you have questions, you can ask us. They have daily disciplines. You know how the Beachbody has what's called the 3 vital behaviors. It's not invite. It's what's the top one of the vital behaviors? Because I know there's personal development.
Invite.
Okay. Well, they flip it up. They flip it up where personal development, if you're doing personal development every day, whether it's reading, scriptures or the Bible or what have you, or, a self-help book, or, stuff like from John Maxwell or Darren Hardy about, how to do the business stuff. Like this last week, every morning I start my day with a motivational video, and I've been posting that to my Facebook page with a motivational quote, so that gives me, gets me pumping. I need to do more of it, but personal development is really key, because all the successful people in the business are doing personal development. And then what's the other vital behavior besides invite and
invite.
Personal development is the middle one. It goes
product of the product.
Product of the product. So personal development, product of the product, and then invite. So when you go, after your personal development is done, be a product of the product. So like, our schedule here in my house is a little busy, so I don't get to work out until after 9:30, but I'm working out and using the products. So you can have those stories. Like Lynn Smith's is an excellent product of the product, because one, she lost some weight, toned up, won $1,000 from Beachbody for doing it. So she got all that free advertising, which is huge. So she can show that, hey, not only does this stuff work, it works for me, and I won money from it on top of the money I'm making from it. So when I look at it, my vital behaviors are personal development, proof of the product, and then invite, because I've got 3 or 4 other people I'm trying to talk with right now to set up where I can get a one-on-one call with them and talk to them about the business. That's what I did with Shelby. My original point to talk to my sister was to use her as a testimonial, by basically saying, look, I'm going to give you 7 days worth of Shakeology. Just try it for 7 days and write a personal testimonial about it, and 9 out of 10 times, people are going to have excellent results with it. They're going to say, man, I lost some weight. I felt better. I just, just really felt good, incorporating it into my day. I'm like, okay, so that way I can use it for later opportunities and later discussions. But that conversation rolled into me talking to her about becoming a coach. So but that's other stuff to get into. Fourth pillar is leaving a legacy. Now this one, I'm going to give you my notes specifically because if you're building a foundation of business that's just about money, it's not going to work long-term in this. Number one, under leaving legacy, what is your long-term vision, like 5+ years? For me, my goal is I don't want Jenny to ever have to work for somebody else. I don't want to ever have to work for somebody else. So in 5 years, I want to be able to, in a position to say, go to the school, take the kids out of school. Why are we out of school? Well, we have a flight in 2 hours that leaves for Orlando. We're going to Disney World. That's the kind of things I want to be able to do with my family. Can't do that now. It takes 6 months to a year to save and plan and stuff like that. Number two about leaving a legacy is you're building your organization. Because if you don't have a strong team around you and underneath you, just like any foundation of a house, it will crumble. And because there is guys like one of the coaches under David, he's been using the because you only need to spend $40 to become a coach. Well, this guy signed up 9 coaches in a pretty quick time. Already 7 of those coaches are inactive because he didn't really build a strong team. He built a quick team to get some recognition, and then it fell apart. So under organizational building, you want to have a team of teams. So like you want to have, so you take like say 10 or whatever you've got of some of your top people, and you start working with them to build and strengthen their teams. So that way you have a bigger, stronger downline that's going to be producing, quality coaches underneath them and quality, income earners that will just continue to help your bottom line out. And then becoming a leader of leaders, because if there's a great picture out there, it's like, so picture Egypt when they're building the pyramids and you got these huge blocks. There's a guy up on top of the block with a whip, whipping these 3 guys pulling this block. Well, they're not going to get that far. Well, the next picture, it's actually the next picture above the first picture, it says boss. And then the next picture shows leader, where the guy who was up on top of the blocks is now in front of the guys pulling the block, and he's helping them and encouraging them to move that block. He's down there in the trenches with them. So when you're a leader, you lead with your team, you lead with your people, you don't boss them from the top. And they set out a long-term business model, basically work to get to diamonds in 30 to 90 days. Because once you hit diamond, that opens up other opportunities. They talk about making your spouse, once you've hit diamond, continue to build your business, but sign your spouse up or sign up your sister or whatever, or, get them involved and get them to diamond as fast as you can, in the 30 to 60 or 90 days. So that way now you've got a stronger network. Hitting 2-star is critical because you get, there's a lot of other opportunities there. I believe it's opens up your second business center, right?
Yes.
So once you hit 2-star, you can open up another business center. So that way now you can build that other business center up, which will help you get to 5-star. And then, and that's if you're hitting 5-star, that's about the point where you're now doubling your income, usually from what you were making, working a 9-to-5 job. If you're hitting 5-star, you should be making well over 6 figures a year, easily. And then the next step in that long-term business model, is having 5 stars underneath you. So that way, you're just building a ridiculous business underneath you. So the next person that they had speak, his name is PJ McClure, and I encourage you guys to check him out because he's more of a they call him the mindset maven, but his deal is that men today are under attack for their manliness. So you have these people who, well, it's not okay to be macho. It's not okay to do this and that or whatever. And it's eroding our foundation as a country. He feels, and I feel this too, that when these, when you have a weak set minded men, it doesn't help you. And, because people are trying to change men's mindsets, but men are pretty much under they operate under, is there a problem? Yes. All right, let me go fix it. And that's how men operate in almost every business. And so that's oh my gosh, are we end in 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh crap. Let me hurry this up then. Yeah, so men operate under the understanding of you got to fix it. What are you doing?
Keep going.
Okay. One of the big things that crosses over to women too is being philanthropic. I didn't understand what he was saying, but I looked it up, and it's seeking to promote the welfare of others. Because in this business, when you're helping, these other people, it only comes back to you in the long run. Like, in the past, I've had family come and ask me for money, and I was in a position to help them. So I'm like, okay, I can give you this money, but I don't expect you to pay it back, because that just creates contention and stuff like that, so people don't like, so, just doing things that help others is way, way awesome. And will return your investment in them greater. And his ending point was like, do something that is bigger than you. And that's the great thing about this business is that, right now I'm motivated by money, but, I'm motivated to help people by helping, Jenny in her business, by helping my sister, earn some money. And Shelby, I hope you don't mind if I say this, but, she just had a kid a couple months ago, and they had to make that decision. Well, is she still going to work? But basically what she'd be working for to pay for is daycare, and they might be getting a couple extra bucks a head. But, she made that tough choice to stay at home to raise her kid. And, that's doing something that's bigger than you, because it's more, to me, that's more important than trying to get that dollar is, being able to raise that kid. So the next person, and I really encourage you guys to look him up, is he's a former professional football player from the late 80s, early 90s. His name is Bo Eason. He was very motivational. I sat on this edge of my seat the whole time while he was talking because of his presence. He's a former football player. He went and became a Broadway actor. He got so good at it that he wrote his own play in a one-man play that won awards and got great reviews and is being made into a movie as we speak. And so, his story is very, very good. His big thing that he really wanted people to know is your story. Like my story is, when me and my brothers growing up, we played Army. We going out, played, infantry, Army, out there killing guys or whatever. Well, of all of my brothers and friends, growing up, I'm the only guy that went into the Army, went in airborne as jumping out of airplanes. And I loved it, but there was a cost in it. My first major injury was I jumped out of a plane and had a bad exit. So I had a bad landing. And so now I don't have cartilage on one side of my knee. And then I went to Iraq and I got blown up in Iraq from an IED, and it screwed up my back and my neck and my head. And, and so that's been nagging injuries. And then just this last couple months, I went into the doctor for my physical, and they said I had a fatty liver and that I was on the verge of becoming pre-diabetic. And so right then and there, I'm like, I can't do this, because I was dabbling in some workout programs here and there, dabbling in eating good, but where was it getting me? It's killing me slower. So I had to make that change. And so, I finally was able to get Body Beast, and it's made a huge difference in me. I can already feel the difference in strength and in health. And I've already lost six pounds, and that's just kind of like my 30-second story. So so he encourages you to come up with a 30, 60, 1 minute, 3 minute, and 5 minute versions of your story, because who knows what situation you'll be in that you'll be walking through and somebody sees that, you're wearing a insanity t-shirt, and you're like, oh, hey, so you've done insanity? Yeah. Tell me about it. And then you'll drop your quick story on them, and they're like, wow, that leaves that little impression. Well, do you know how I can, get that? Oh yeah, sure. Check this website out. It's just, your story builds that connection with people that resonate. What did he say? There was, it resonates with people. And when you make your story, the more personal your story is, the more universal it goes out and reaches people. And that's a big grabber for people that will come in and they're like, man, your story was so moving and motivating. I want to work with you. I want you as my coach to become, a healthier and fitter me. And then you can grow that relationship into, well, I see that you're doing all this, but you're also make money at it. Yeah. And then you give them the coaching idea. It's really quite amazing how it all works out. But here's some of the things, he had 3 points is, one is your story. Very important. 2, the physicality, the way you walk and handle yourself. When you come up to somebody who's like, hey, I'd like to talk to you about Shakeology. It's a great product, it's really done me good. Would you respond to that? Or would you like, hey, I've been on Shakeology for a couple weeks now. I'm already feeling great. My energy level's up. I'm, losing weight. Is that something you want to learn about? Or, can I get you some information about? You see how the difference between how I came across, people are going to gravitate to you naturally and say, wow, I'm actually, I want to know what he wants, what he has, so that your physicality and your presence and the way you present yourself to people, like literally today, I didn't tell Jenny this, but, as soon as I got out of my truck, I felt like I was walking around like, hey, look, I look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, I can walk around, and it's all about your day-to-day presence because, I've already got a better self about me, a better impression of myself. And then the third thing, he says, with all this other stuff and all this money you're making and stuff, remember, generosity is to help you keep humble. The art of giving oneself in spirit, is really helpful because people, that's another thing that people gravitate to is that when you are, generous in the things that you do, like, I really want to help you with this. I really want to get you this information. What can I do? Do you have email, text? Do I have to put it in a letter? Do I have to have a carrier pigeon? I want to get you this information because it's so important for you to have this. It's just, just that important. Let's see here. Another thing he talked about is, you're doing all this stuff, but does your family understand what you're doing? Jenny, she puts in about 2 hours a day every day. And a lot of it's when she gets home from work. The kids know that she's doing stuff, she's working, but does she know the real goal? I don't know if they fully understand the real goal is that she wants to be home.
Oh, they know.
Well, but work with me here, gosh. But it's that, when your family fully understands what you're trying to do and what your goals are, they're more apt to say, okay, yeah, daddy wants to be able to quit his job because he hates it. And so he's really pushing hard. So I kind of understand why, but you still got to spend that personal time with them. And by doing that, they don't feel left out of the experience of you trying to grow your business. Let's see here. And then, so this one, they showed a bunch of inspirational, motivational movie videos and stuff. And there's this one guy, they didn't even talk about him, but his name is Gary Vaynerchuk, Vaynerchuk. His family, he was born in like Belarus or Belgrade or something, and came here when he was 3. But he was like, in his video, it's called hustle. Make it the most important word or action, because if you're not hustling every day to make your business work, to make your friends understand that this is a commitment that you're making, they won't understand what's going on. Yeah, Shelby just said Anthony, our cousin. He's a former professional football player. Well, if you look up Anthony Trucks or Trucks Training, you look at him, and every day he's out there on Facebook, motivational stuff. Do this. Do you guys understand this? He's every day he's working for personal development and to better himself. Let me pull up this YouTube video here. I think it might help. It is from Gary Vaynerchuk. I want to show you the hustle video, but he drops a couple F-bombs, so I'm not going to put that out there. If you're okay with watching that, go look him up and look under his stuff for hustle. But I don't feel like in a professional environment that's the best way to get his message across. And where is it? Shoot. Hang on one second. I know it's on my laptop, so. But this guy, he took his dad's wine business. He was doing about $4 million in sales a year and built a business at $80 million a year from his dad's wine business. And that's where he went, and he dabbles in Facebook and Twitter and Snapchat and Instagram. Not that I think that you can make money or get people off of Snapchat. I wouldn't recommend it just because of the security issues with that site. So here, let me people argue. Hang on, let me get this prepped up and share with you. Once I share this, how do I go into it?
So did you hit share screen?
So I hit share screen.
And then click on the desktop or whatever screen you want to share.
Okay. So just, here's a good video.
So many people argue if social media matters or if there's such a thing as personal brand. I'm not even going to get into the personal brand being a subject matter because clearly there is. I mean, I still see Davy Jones from the Monkees doing commercials. I mean, what is he building off of? He's not playing music on that bull crap. Once you build brand equity in America, that is the game. I mean, really, personal brand is here. It's here to stay. What does Oprah do? She talks. I mean, personal brand is clearly monetizable. I mean, what happened with Paul Newman's, Avala Shalom just passed away. Why do people buy his lemonade? Not because of any other reason, because of the personal brand. And then, of course, the content had to be good. If it was crap-ass lemonade, nobody would come back. So you got to have both. But what I want to talk to you about today is word of mouth. It's not that personal brand changed or personalities now claim to be personal brand. That is irrelevant. What is changed so dramatically and is so important to me and Chris Mott and every single other person out there is that word of mouth has fundamentally changed. Building brands and building businesses has always been about word of mouth. Go speak to Grandpa Thompson and he will tell you word of mouth is where it's at. That's what you do. That's what you want. You want people to favorably talk about your product, your service, your business. That has always been the most powerful thing. You don't listen to the billboards or the radio ads or the commercials. You listen to somebody else. Your friend who you trust told you it rocked the house. That's why you went. But here's where it gets powerful. Word of mouth has fundamentally changed in the last 3 years because of social media. Twitter and Facebook and other products like that have allowed your voice to go extremely viral. So let's just say Chris Mott over here was the biggest socialite in New York City. And he just went to every event, every night. He was the biggest yenta in town. How many possible people could he really tell about your service or that he liked you or he liked your restaurant or your business or your wine? How many? 500? 1,000? If that's all he did for a month? Well, now, one press of the button on Twitter after you type a couple 140 characters and tens of thousands of people are going to know. And you think Twitter's big now? Wait till real people get on there. I mean, God bless me and Scoble and, Cal Canis and Mike Larrington, Kevin Rose. Wait till the whole world finds out about it. And Paris Hilton and Lindsay Lohan start twittering out to hundreds of thousands of people that they're at this club. You'll see the power of word of mouth. Word of mouth is on steroids, my friends. It's Roger Clemens. It's Barry Bonds. Let's throw Brett Boone in there. It is absolutely on steroids. More and more tools are being created every day to allow your word to travel in so many more places. Plus, understand word of mouth. So now you tweet something else. Well, then somebody blog posts about it, and then somebody stumbles upon that, and then somebody digs that. The word, the tail of word of mouth is the power of what the internet has created. And the sooner you understand that, the sooner you will understand how to build brands on the internet in 2008, 2009, and beyond.
So, oh crap, stop sharing. There we go. So, in all those things that I talked about, I feel word of mouth is
Let's start with this. I fully 100%
to helping build that relationship with people that will resonate and that will, because, hey, don't go to Bob, he's just trying to peddle that Beachbody stuff again. Or, hey, you need to talk to Bob. Bob has legitimate stuff, that's helped him get to this point, get him lose 50, 60 pounds. He's talking about quitting his job in a couple months because he's making more money than he's making here. So it's, when it comes down to it, is that your word of mouth and all those other things that I talked about, your story, your presence, all comes together to make a better coach, a better you, so that way you can build your business, whether it's, helping people or making money, it's up to you, and the possibilities are endless. I mean, 15 guys, several of them are like former SWAT guys. One guy, walked away from a police retirement at 17 years, 3 years away from retiring, because he could make more money and not have the possibility of being dead from being shot as a cop, and retire better. So, it's those whys and stuff like that. But, yeah, so I hope that was helpful. I know it seemed kind of scatterbrained, but, I took 5 pages of notes and got 7 hours of audio. I still need to go through the audio and refine my notes, but yeah, hopefully that was helpful to you guys. You got any questions? I guess, how do I unmute people?
You click on their screen,
Okay.
right click, Unmute.
Right click, unmute. Yeah. So do you guys have any questions? I mean, it's just you and Shelby. So yeah. So you have any questions with that or?
The only, I guess the question that I have, you covered a lot. So the
Yeah.
one thing that I still feel like I struggle with is understanding how the team like I think you were also saying that you didn't really understand how it works. So
Yeah. Team
I don't know. I need more education on understanding how this whole piece works and how people, because you hear people are doing this really well and they've figured it out for themselves, and I'm not sure if it's just that they've just did it by accident or somebody told them, and so I'm just wondering how we can find that. Do you think we could look with Kate and I mean, obviously Kate and David have figured it out. So
yeah, they figured it out, and David tried to explain that to us, and that, and I kind of understood it. It's basically, so just take start drawing out a pyramid. Right leg, left leg, but don't make that line across the bottom. And then you take your right leg, and then you draw another 2 lines, to start a period, and another 2 lines, and once you got a pretty big, pyramid, and then you just like circle one person and say they cycled right there because they had volume of 200 on their strong leg and volume of 100 on their weak leg.
But how do you figure out which leg has what volume? Is that, Jenny, is that on the genealogy chart or something? Where do you find that?
Here,
She knows better about it than I do. I just know you can make money from it at this point.